Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, and it is a cold Monday morning, but I'm out walking. Let me show you this. I think it's really beautiful. Here is the path down. I take down to the river, and I hate. There's always something sort of sad about when the leaves fall, but it's also so joyful. It's so beautiful. Look at these colors. Even after they've fallen on the ground, I love leaves in the fall. It reminds me of being a kid when we were kids back in the Midwest, and my dad would, when we were especially little, my dad would rake up big piles of leaves and let us just run and jump in the piles of leaves. And it was so fun. I have such memories of that. And then, of course, as we got a little older, we had to rake our own leaves. It was still fun. Anyway, I'm walking on this beautiful fall morning. And I wanted to share with you the meditation I'm working on this morning. It's the Psalm 90 from Psalm 90 verses 1 through 12. And I'll tell you it's part of the lectionary for the week. One of the kind of unique things about this psalm is that it is the only psalm that actually is attributed to Moses. And it's not that Moses wrote it. Don't believe that. It's that it's written to him. And I think maybe because it's sort of it's a psalm that sort of cries out for wisdom and celebrates life, and also acknowledges the fleetingness of life, and the fact that Moses had such a long life and worked so hard his whole life to leading the Israelites out of Egypt and helping lead them through the wilderness and just the whole experience. And then he doesn't get to actually go. He doesn't step foot, not one toe, nothing. He doesn't get to go to the promised land. There's that scene where God takes him up to the mountain, and he looks out over and he can see it. And he says, there it is, but you don't get to go. So the Psalm, we think that's probably why the Psalm 90, which is just this beautiful, if you have a chance, I really encourage you to sit down with this Psalm today or maybe today and every day this week and spend some time with it. It's really beautiful. It is a poem. It's eloquent. It uses beautiful language, beautiful imagery, and it's just packed full of wisdom. Let me read it. I'm just going to read verses 1 through 12. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn people to destruction and say, return, O children of God. For 1,000 years in your sight are like yesterday when it is past, and like a watch in the night. You carry them away like a flood. They are like a sleep. In the morning, they are like grass which grows up. In the morning, it flourishes and grows up. In the evening, it is cut down and withers. For we have been consumed by your anger, and by your wrath we are terrified. You have set your iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your countenance. for all our days have passed away in your wrath. We finish our years like a sigh. The days of our lives are 70 years, and if by reason of strength they are 80 years, yet their boast is only labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. Who knows the power of your anger? For as the fear of you, so is your wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days, that we might gain a heart of wisdom. Oh, look, there's a young buck walking across the field down there. What does that mean? Teach us to number our days, so that we might have a heart for wisdom. I think there's built into the psalm, I don't want us to lose sight of this, that it's really about joy. And how do we find joy? How do we appreciate life? How do we find joy? And I think the psalm really pushes us. If you meditate on it and see if you find the same truth. That gratitude, being able to have some gratitude and thankfulness in our lives, even when things seem hard, even if things seem hopeless, that there is always room to find hope. Of course, this is November, and it's a good time to think about Thanksgiving and thankfulness, gratitude. And I just want you to remember that joy comes from gratitude. It is grounded in that. I don't think you can really truly have joy, true joy, if you can't find a way to be thankful. In other words, if we just focus on all that is wrong, all the bad, everything that has happened, all the negative, then our life just becomes filled with anger, hopelessness, despair, rage, hatred, divisiveness. And I'm not suggesting that you ignore. That's not the message, that we should ignore the pain and the sorrow of the world. Of course not. But that there is something about being thankful and seeing things to be thankful and grateful for, and recognizing the good too, that really brings us joy and bolsters us and moves us through the darkness and the sorrow. Those times when we are in the midst of the dark night of the soul, it is our gratitude and thankfulness, that joy abundance, that pulls us through. I would just like to invite you to meditate on Psalm 90. See what it bubbles up for you. And I'd like to remind us as we, me and I were walking the neighborhood and noticed there were so many houses in our neighborhood that are already, all the Christmas decorations are up and Christmas trees are up, and you can feel people just wanting to, reaching for something good and happy, needing a little light and celebration. And walking through the store, we had to go to the grocery store and went into Costco the other day, and of course, all the Christmas stuff is up, and we went into. I had to drive into an appointment, and I was driving down on the east side, and there was a Christmas tree stand up already. You could just feel we just are ready to go there, right? We want some joy. So I'm with you. I want some joy too. We need some joy, but don't pass over thankfulness. Don't pass over thankfulness to get there. You really can't. You can't get to joy. You can't bypass Thanksgiving and get to joy. Don't forget thankfulness. What are the things you are most thankful for? I'm thankful for this beautiful walk. I'm thankful for this beautiful congregation of First Christian Church. I'm thankful for your love. I'm thankful for your willingness to share so that others may live more fully, that you are willing to open the church property, open your hearts to make space for the most needy in our community to have shelter and have a place to call home. I am thankful for you. What are you thankful for? Just as a reminder too, here's a quick reminder, and then I'm going to let you go for the day, but go meditate on Psalm 90. But you know, everybody wants to move forward, and we want this pandemic to be over, but our numbers are growing at record rates right now. The number of COVID cases in our state has increased and are increasing rapidly in our county. The numbers are on the rise, and we just hit the 10 million mark here in our country. We are still full on in the middle of this pandemic, and as much as we want it to be over, it isn't over. So please, I implore, practice social distancing, wear your masks, be safe. The church building continues to be closed, and we will remain closed until this pandemic is over. The office is closed. It will remain closed until this pandemic is over. We must continue to be diligent in our efforts to prevent the spread so that we can get back to in-person stuff safely. So please practice social distancing, wear your masks, be safe. God bless.